The ocean is vast, silent, merciless, and sometimes it swallows stories whole. December 1872, a merchant ship is spotted drifting aimlessly in the Atlantic Ocean. No distress signal, no signs of life, just the creak of wooden boards and the whisper of the wind. On board, dinner is still set on the table. The cargo is untouched. The ship is in near-perfect condition, but the entire crew has vanished without a trace. Among the missing, a respected captain, his wife, and their 2-year-old child. No blood, no signs of struggle, no goodbye, just disappearance. Some say it was pirates. Others whisper of sea monsters, or even alien abduction. But the truth? No one really knows. Today, over 150 years later, the Mary Celeste remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time. In this video, we'll retrace every step from its cursed beginnings to the final voyage and explore every chilling theory that tries to explain why the Mary Celeste was found ghostly and abandoned in the middle of the sea. Before she became a ghost ship legend, the Mary Celeste had a long and troubled history. She was born in Nova Scotia, Canada, in 1861, and was first named the Amazon. From the very beginning, misfortune seemed to follow her like a shadow. Her first captain died on his maiden voyage. Not long after, she collided with another ship in the English Channel. Fires, groundings, repairs the Amazon seemed cursed. In 1869, after years of bad luck, she was sold and renamed the Mary Celeste. New name, new hope, or so it seemed. She was a sturdy 100-foot brigantine with a strong hull and a loyal crew. Nothing about her appearance suggested that she would become one of history's most haunting maritime enigmas. In 1872, Captain Benjamin Briggs took command. A deeply religious and respected sailor, he was joined by his wife Sarah and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia on what was meant to be a simple, profitable voyage to Europe. But the Mary Celeste would never reach her destination. And what happened in the weeks that followed has baffled historians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists ever since. This is where the mystery truly begins. The 7th of November, 1872. The Mary Celeste set sail from Pier 50 in New York City, bound for Genoa, Italy. On board, 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, highly flammable and intended for industrial use. At the helm is Captain Benjamin Briggs, 37 years old. He's accompanied by his wife Sarah and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. Alongside them, a hand-picked crew of 7 experienced sailors, mostly German and American. Briggs was a seasoned navigator, respected for his calm demeanor and deep faith. He personally selected each member of the crew, and by all accounts, harmony prevailed on board. Their journey would take them across the North Atlantic, a notoriously rough stretch, especially in the winter. But for 2 weeks, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The last entry in the ship's log was dated the 25th of November, just east of the Azores Islands. There was no mention of trouble, no sign of panic, just routine navigation. And then, silence. For the next 9 days, the Mary Celeste drifted alone across the Atlantic, untouched by storm or pirate, a ship without a crew. It wasn't until the 4th of December, 1872, that another vessel, the Dei Gracia, spotted her off the coast of Portugal, sails partially set, lifeboat gone. No human voice, no cry for help, just a drifting ghost on an open sea. What happened between the 25th of November and the 4th of December? Why would an experienced captain abandon a perfectly seaworthy ship with his family on board? The answers, or what little of them exist, lie in what the Dei Gracia crew found next. The British brigantine Dei Gracia, commanded by Captain David Morehouse, was en route to Gibraltar when a strange silhouette appeared on the horizon, a ship drifting aimlessly. At first, nothing seemed out of place, but as they approached, it became clear no one was at the helm. No flags flown, no response to their signals. 2 men from the Dei Gracia boarded the vessel. What they found was chilling. The ship was seaworthy. The sails were slightly damaged, but functional. The cargo, all but 9 barrels of alcohol, was intact. Personal belongings, including valuables, were undisturbed. Captain Briggs's logbook was still on board, with the last entry made just 9 days earlier. One thing was missing: the lifeboat. It appeared to have been intentionally launched. But why? And under what circumstances? The ship's only signs of distress were about 3 feet of water in the bilge, not unusual for a ship of its kind, and a disassembled pump possibly being repaired. But there was no sign of fire, violence, or flooding. The captain's cabin looked as if he had just stepped out. A child's dress was neatly folded on a bunk. The beds were made. Food provisions were in order. Nothing pointed to an emergency. Yet the crew had vanished. Captain Morehouse ordered that the Mary Celeste be sailed to Gibraltar. But in doing so, he and his crew would become part of the mystery and face their own share of suspicion. What was thought to be a simple salvage operation would soon become an international enigma, as the courts demanded answers that no one could truly give. With no signs of violence, no distress signal, and a ship still in sailing condition, the Mary Celeste raised one burning question. Why would a trusted captain abandon her? Could pirates have attacked? The open seas were dangerous after all. But this theory falls apart quickly. The cargo, the crew's valuables, even personal belongings were untouched. No signs of struggle, no blood, no plunder. If pirates came, they left without taking anything or leaving a trace. Some speculated that a crew member turned against Captain Briggs, perhaps in a drunken rage maybe sparked by the toxic alcohol on board. But again, no evidence supported this. The crew was carefully chosen and had good reputations. And there was no sign of violence on board. A sudden seaquake could have shaken the ship violently, possibly damaging the cargo hold and frightening the crew into thinking the ship was sinking. Waterspouts tornadoes over water are another possibility. A sudden, violent funnel of wind and spray could have made the crew believe they had only seconds to escape. One of the most compelling theories came from scientist Dr. Andrea Sella in the 2000s. He suggested that the alcohol cargo could have leaked toxic, flammable fumes into the hold. It wouldn't have left burn marks, just a terrifying blast of heat and noise. The crew may have believed the ship would explode and fled in the lifeboat, tethered behind, only to be separated by wind or rough seas. It's logical, it's scientific, but it's still just a theory. Of course, some turn to the supernatural, sea monsters, ghosts, the wrath of a cursed ship. Even alien abduction has been proposed. Compelling? Maybe. Likely? Not really. But they fueled novels, movies, and campfire stories for generations. Some believe the mystery was man-made, a staged abandonment, part of an insurance fraud or secret deal. Suspicions briefly fell on the Dei Gracia. After all, they were in the right place, at the right time, and stood to gain a large salvage reward. But the court found no evidence of wrongdoing. And besides, the reward was reduced significantly, implying lingering doubt, not guilt. So many theories, so few answers. The more we learn about the Mary Celeste, the more mysterious her story becomes. Over 150 years later, we still don't know why the crew vanished, only that they left behind a perfectly good ship and one of the greatest mysteries ever to drift across the ocean. When the Mary Celeste was brought into Gibraltar on the 13th of December, 1,872 authorities were baffled and immediately suspicious. Attorney General Frederick Solly Flood led the inquiry. He believed something sinister had taken place. Flood suspected foul play, perhaps a conspiracy between the Dei Gracia crew and the Mary Celeste's own men. But every theory fell apart under scrutiny. No signs of violence, no evidence of piracy or theft, and the Dei Gracia's logbook confirmed their story. They discovered the ship adrift, just as they said. Still, the court hesitated. The salvage award was issued, but dramatically reduced. Out of a possible 8,300 pounds, the Dei Gracia crew received just pound 1,700. It was a strange decision, as if the court suspected wrongdoing but couldn't prove it. No one was ever charged. No crew member was ever found. And the official record labeled it simply as an unexplained abandonment. The Mary Celeste may be the most famous ghost ship, but she's not alone. Throughout maritime history, the sea has swallowed countless souls and sometimes returned only the ships. In 1931, the SS Bejimo was abandoned in the Arctic after being trapped in pack ice. But instead of sinking, she broke free and was seen drifting aimlessly for decades. She became known as the ghost ship of the Arctic, cited by whalers and explorers as late as 1969, unmanned and untouchable. In 1955, the MV Joyita vanished with 25 people on board. When she was found 5 weeks later, she was floating half submerged in the Pacific Ocean. But the crew? Gone without a trace. She was missing lifeboats, but filled with strange clues. Logbooks gone, food still on board, and signs of a sudden, silent departure. In 1921, the Carol A.D. Earring was found aground off Cape Hatteras. Her sails were set. Food was cooking in the galley, but the crew and the lifeboats were missing. Despite a full investigation by the U.S. government, no conclusion was ever reached. The Deering joined the Mary Celeste in the pages of nautical folklore. Time and again, the sea gives us the same riddle ships left behind, but no one left to tell the tale. The Mary Celeste may be the most famous, but she's far from alone. So, what really happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? After more than 150 years of speculation, the most widely accepted theory is one of simple human error sparked by fear. 9 barrels of industrial alcohol were found empty. It's possible that vapors leaked, creating a risk of explosion. Captain Briggs, cautious and responsible, may have ordered everyone into the lifeboat temporarily just in case. The lifeboat was likely tied to the Mary Celeste, a safety measure. But what if the rope snapped in rough weather? What if the sea pulled them away too fast to return? They may have watched their ship and their only hope disappear over the horizon, lost to the vast, merciless Atlantic. No violence, no conspiracy. Just a decision made in fear that turned into legend. The story of the Mary Celeste didn't end with her disappearance from history. It only began. Her mystery has echoed through time, inspiring storytellers, scholars, and skeptics alike. From Arthur Conan Doyle's 1884 short story, which fictionalized and sensationalized the event, to modern films, documentaries, and even ghost-hunting television shows, the Mary Celeste has become the benchmark of nautical mystery. She's taught in schools, discussed in maritime circles, and referenced in everything from mystery novels to cartoons. The term ghost ship is now synonymous with the unexplained, and much of that credit belongs to one silent brigantine, found drifting alone in 1872. The Mary Celeste wasn't just a ship. She became a story, a symbol, a haunting reminder that the sea holds secrets it may never give up. Before we wrap up, let's clear the fog around some common myths about the Mary Celeste. Myth number 1. The Mary Celeste was found completely intact with no damage. Fact. The ship was in surprisingly good condition, but her lifeboat was missing and the sails were partially damaged, signs the crew left in a hurry. Myth number 2. The crew disappeared because of supernatural forces. Fact. While ghost stories are fun, there's no credible evidence supporting paranormal causes. The mystery is more likely rooted in natural or human factors. Myth number 3. The ship was cursed. Fact. No historical record suggests the Mary Celeste had any curse. The idea comes mostly from sensationalized tales and popular culture. Myth number 4. The ship's captain was inexperienced or reckless. Fact. Captain Benjamin Briggs was known for his skill and professionalism. His decision to abandon the ship likely came from a place of caution, not carelessness. Now, let's have a little fun with some what-if scenarios. What if things had gone differently? Scenario 1. What if the crew never left the ship? If they'd stayed on board, they might have survived the leak and completed their voyage, and the mystery would have never been born. Scenario 2. What if the lifeboat didn't break free? Perhaps they could have waited out the danger and reboarded the ship safely, escaping the terrifying fate we can only imagine. Scenario 3. What if the Mary Celeste encountered pirates after abandonment? Maybe pirates found the empty ship later, but since the cargo was untouched, they left it alone, deepening the mystery even more. Scenario 4. What if the crew's disappearance was a secret rescue mission gone? Could the crew have been secretly rescued or kidnapped? It sounds like a thriller plot, but no evidence supports this. Still, it's fun to imagine. These scenarios remind us that the Mary Celeste story is as much about imagination as it is about history. What's your favorite theory or what if idea? Let us know in the comments.